Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Stephen Williams, founder and president of the CreditRepairShop.com. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about an update that we got with dealing with a debt collection company. In one of my videos, I think it was Monday or maybe last Friday, I had talked about the customer that we had, 70 years old, or I might have said she was 72, but she's 70 years old. She ran up credit debt with Home Shopping Network, 7,100 bucks worth, and we did a full validation of the debt collection, and it was not past statute of limitations. Everything checked out. The attorney that was handling the case was only hired by the Home Shopping Network, so it was not uh, a debt that was sold. So this was something that was where the debt collector was hired to collect the debt for the Home Shopping Network. So it wasn't one of those situations where it was a sold debt and it was sold for pennies on the dollar. They maintained the debt. It was only less than a year old, and so they were coming after her. And I had told you about her situation where she was on fixed income, retired, but she wanted to pay this debt, but she did not have the money to offer a settlement on the debt. She was not in that position, but she wanted to stop all of the anxiety, all of the emotions, and get it resolved without having to go to court. And we were able to get that resolution. We did a resolution of $150 per month on the debt. At some point, if she's able to save money and come up with more money, there is an opportunity to pay the debt in full for settlement amount. Sometimes these resolutions have to come with doing a payment plan, because this is what potentially could have happened with this debt collection. If she did not respond and they got a default judgment against her, they could have came after her and potentially try to say, well, we want to get $500 a month, we want to get $600 a month, $700 a month. The ball would have been 100% in their court if she did not have us as a company, or even if you're an individual and you find yourself in this situation, if you don't take the initiative to approach the debt collection company and see what could be worked out so you can be able to move forward. Because $150 to her, she felt that she said she would have paid more, but we said get a comfortable payment for you, and then you can pay it off quicker, or you can pay more at your leisure, not where you're going to be putting a higher payment over your head that you have to stick to. And she was like, that was great. She loved the work that we did for her, and now she's going to be able to move on. And then I think I had talked about it in the video where she was with this company that was supposedly she had been paying them money, and this is the sheet. She had been paying them money, $232.98. She was been paying this money faithfully for years, a few years, or a year and a half, and they were supposed to be settling her debts. And these are these scam companies that supposedly you're going to pay them money, and then at some point they're going to settle your debts. And I always tell people that get into these programs that when you're dealing with these debt settlement companies, that there's one thing that they do not have control over. One thing, and that they cannot make the collection or the original creditor or the collection agency that is coming after the person for the debt, they cannot make them settle for a certain amount of money. They cannot. I don't care what any of these companies attorneys say. I don't care what if they are just a credit counseling type company. I don't care who they are, what they say to you. They cannot tell another company what to accept as an offer. They cannot. So what they do, this is the scenario that they put together. They tell people, okay, you pay us this money, 200, 300, 400. I've heard people pay $1,000 a month, just depending on the amount of debt that they have. So they bring you in, they say, just pay us, stop paying them, and at some point they're going to charge off the debt if it's not charged off, or if it is charged off, you just keep paying us, and then at some point we're going to take that money and we're going to propose a settlement to the company. What they do not tell you, it is in the paperwork, but what they don't really make it clear to you is that the debt collection company or the original creditor has to agree to this proposed settlement. Everybody thinks that just because they're going to throw some money in someone's face that they're going to accept it. No, they can say no. And what happened with this company is when they said no, they told this 70-year-old lady, you can stop paying us payments. And then they just ran off. She's paid them a little more than $5,000. And then they took off on her. I'm going to get her money back from this company. I've already got the ball rolling, and I'm going to get her all of her money back from this company. They cannot do this to her. They cannot do this to her. So now I had another client come to me. He's being sued by Capital One Bank. Total amount is over $7,000 he's being sued for. Now, when I first looked at the paperwork, I was like, okay, it has Capital One as the plaintiff, and they're coming after him for the money. And I said, well, since they're suing you, they send you a summons, you got to answer those questions on there. And I said that I'll do some research too, but you got to be prepared to either answer them yourself, and if you want to get an attorney for your area, you're gonna have to have an attorney. He said that he talked to attorneys and that none of them were interested in even going to court for him. And I was like, that's strange. So let me really dig deep and look at this paperwork. And I was like, well, yeah, it looks like Capital One is coming after you for the debt, and that there's no it looked like it's just a straight where they hired the debt collection attorney to come after you for the debt. But then when I dug deep into it, the paperwork shows that the debt that they're coming after him for is from Capital One, but when I dug into it, it said that it was coming from a debt collector because they stated it in the summons. But then when I looked at his credit monitoring service, it said that the debt was purchased by a debt collection company a year and a half ago. So what they've actually done is the debt collection company has actually lied on a court affidavit that Capital One is coming after him for the money, when it's really a debt collection company that bought the debt and then they assigned it over to another debt collection company to come after him for the debt. This right here should be thrown out of court based on what the evidence that he's going to be giving the court when he goes in there. Because this is a false affidavit that was put together. But what happens is that debt collection companies don't believe that people are going to do that research and put two and two together and know their rights and know the laws. They just think that you're not going to show up, they're going to get a default judgment and it's and they're just going to be able to run off and come after you and start garnishing your wages. So what I'm actually going to do with him is one of the attorneys that we have a connection with in his area. We're going to forward the file to him, and he's going to be taking up this case, and I'll let you know what ends up happening with this. But even if he did not want to have an attorney, he could easily just go into court and with the answers on the summons, because you always have to do that, and then he could make the validation request for all of the documentation showing the relationship with the debt collector with the proposed plaintiff, which is Capital One Bank. What is their relationship? That would have been revealed that they have no relationship, that it's actually a debt collection company that hired him. He would ask for all the documentation showing his contract with them, showing the contract that he had, showing all of the original contract with Capital One. They must provide that. He wants all of the statements of the charges showing his signatures, that he charged everything that they're showing. He wants a record of all of his payments that he had made in the past to Capital One. They must bring that information. When people have done this in court, the lawyer that is there is usually a low-grade lawyer, junior lawyer. He's the one that's doing all the easy stuff. They'll just ask for a dismissal because or they'll ask for more time. And if the judge, some of the judges will give them more time, but if the judge looks at the defendant should actually say, I've given them time to get that information, and I want to have the case dismissed because they submitted documents to them and they didn't bring it to court. And the judge will usually dismiss the case. But with this one here, they should go through all of that, plus he should let the judge know that this affidavit, he wants to let the judge know that this is a false affidavit that was prepared because it states on his credit reports, and that company had to put that on there, Capital One had to put that on there, that it was sold to a company that is not even listed on the affidavit. So this whole thing could be thrown out. And then with the attorney that's going to be doing the work for him, I'm pretty sure he's going to get a monetary solution where the debt collection companies and potentially Capital One will have to pay damages to this customer because of what they've done. This is some crazy stuff. This is some crazy stuff. The reason why they get away with this is because no one does anything. They don't know their rights. They don't do the research. They don't look at their credit reports and look at how it's stated on there and look at what's stated in the summons. All of these things are problems. So don't let these debt collectors just run over you. And I'll let you know what happens with this also, because this is going to be one that's going to be very interesting. So if you need to get your credit reports, you got to know what's on there, because that if you don't know what's on there, you don't know what potential solutions you have if you have problems with your credit. So there's a link below. You can go to your3scores.com and grab them, look them over, tell me about them. I can tell you what you can do. If you need help with your credit, click the link, or you just look at my videos. I'm giving all types of solutions. Please subscribe to my page if you haven't subscribed to it. Subscribe to the Credit Repair Shop page here. Tell friends and family about it. Thank you, and until the next video, have a great day.